Have Good afternoon. Welcome to this Doral Community Coalition live interview today. I am Norato Spangaro. I am the treasurer of the coalition, and I'm very pleased to introduce you our president, Yvette Gonzalez Petkovich, who will lead this talk, this very friendly discussion with Daniella Levin Cava, the mayor of Miami-Dade County. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Yvette Gonzalez Petkovich.
Thank you, Norberto. Well, again, we have a very special show today because of the fact that we have Mayor Daniella Levin Cava, who's agreed to join us to talk to us a little bit about herself and her administration in her first couple of months in office. And again, with no further ado, Mayor Daniella Levin Cava, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. How are we doing today?
I am doing very well. I am so excited to be with you, Yvette. Thank you so very much for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And Madam Mayor, you know that I shared with you that the reason why we wanted to bring you on and sort of have a conversation with you is because we were really excited about the opportunity to give some of our residents here in Doral, our neighbors and our community, an opportunity to get a little up close and personal and know a little bit more about the new leader in their county. And so I'd like to kind of start off by giving you the floor and giving you the opportunity to kind of make it pretty simple. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you have a long history, in public service, but there's so much more than that. And so tell us a little bit about your background and where you come from and how you get to where you are today. Can you hear us?
All right. Well, I'm a 40-year resident, 65, and I have two wonderful children grown up. They sadly do not live here. They're in Washington and Philadelphia. My two grandchildren, I have not seen them because of COVID for an entire year. My wonderful husband, Robert Cava, grew up here in Miami, and he brought me down. He calls me imported talent. Brought me down, and it took me 10 years to fall in love with Miami. And now I am absolutely enchanted every corner of it. And since we're talking to the Doral crowd, I must say, Doral really rocks. So much going on.
I can't disagree with you more.
I went to the Nutcracker. I've toured the art. I'm a big fan of your mayor. I went to a Veterans Day celebration in a beautiful park. So much is up to date in Doral. So I'm very excited to be with you. And, I just say this, I know you want to ask different questions, but one thing about being mayor, of a county that has 34 cities, each with their own flavor, their own leadership.
Yes.
It's very exciting for me to create a collaborative approach to governing our region in support of the cities as well.
Well, I love that you sort of approach it that way, obviously for the reasons you indicated, but I can imagine that it can't possibly be that easy, right? To take a collaborative approach on a city or a county, rather, as diverse as ours. I would love to know a little bit about sort of some of the experiences and the skills that you picked up, through the years that sort of has helped you, make
Okay.
those collaborative efforts.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I am a social worker and I'm also an attorney like you. So I
Wow.
put together those skills, social work that helps you to be a better listener, helps you to better understand the dynamics and why people do what they do, what motivates them. As a politician, you need to know that. You really need to know where people are coming from. And then as a lawyer, I know the language of policy, how to shape the laws and the programs to better meet the needs of the community. So I actually refer to it as both love and power. And I love to ask people which is which, because law and social work, which is law and which is power.
I love it. I love it. And it's so interesting that you say that because I don't know how many know this little factoid, but you are the first female mayor that Miami-Dade County has ever elected, and to me that was quite an accomplishment because I'm a little bit biased, but I think that women oftentimes approach things in the way that you just expressed, and
Yes.
so I think it's great to hear how you're trying to apply some of that to your everyday. Are you seeing that it's working and it's making a difference and that people are responding?
Well, very funny. It is really a balance. So I got elected, I think, because people see that I really care. And that was
Right.
our slogan, a mayor who cares. And especially in these difficult times, people wanted someone that would listen to them, have compassion, was dedicated to making sure they got through these difficult times. So I think that was a key part of getting elected. But now that I've been elected, people want me to be the strong mayor that I was elected
Right.
to be. They want me to flex my muscle and not let people push me around. And sometimes when you're nice, people think, oh, I could just do whatever because she's so nice. Well, guess what? I am nice, I am respectful, but don't mess with me.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? It's so beautiful because I'm sure that there are plenty of young women and girls who are watching this. And I think for myself, it's incredibly refreshing to know that you can have sort of those two worlds and still be incredibly effective, and make an impact on people's lives. So I really that this might very well be my favorite part of this
Thank you.
conversation. Absolutely, because we're tasked. Sometimes you don't realize how much you are serving as a role model. I'm sure you know that already, but it's easy to forget, and so it's beautiful that you
Thank
see it
you.
that way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I think that I would probably be remiss if we didn't talk about probably the most important issue facing the county today. And I know you have a ton of information to share with us. I'd really love to know a little bit about your administration's approach to dealing with the COVID crisis. There's been a lot of activity over the last couple of weeks, and I'm not quite certain that our residents know all the work that you've been doing. Would you mind sharing with us a bit about your approach and some of the accomplishments and some of the moves that you've made to get all of this under control?
Yeah, look, we are living through these incredible times nobody anticipated, a once in a century terrible pandemic. And good news is that we have a vaccine. And the bad news is we can't get enough of it. So, at the same time as people are continuing to get very sick and many dying still, and we have to maintain all the protections, all the precautions, at the same time, we see the light at the end of the tunnel that this vaccine is here. We're not yet at the stage where we're worried because people aren't taking it. We're at the stage where we want it, we're desperate for it. And especially our older people and our people with health conditions, people who have been so afraid and locked up at home, and they're just desperate to get back to some normal living. And we just don't have the supply. So I've been fighting like crazy to get us more vaccine. We have by now a really good system for getting the vaccine out. Yes, some of the people that don't have internet or don't have phone or can't are homebound, it's harder for them, and we're working on getting it to them as well. But the real challenge is we just do not have the supply. We've vaccinated over 100,000 people. And remember, we're almost 3 million people in Miami-Dade County. So
Right.
that's kind of slow. We have about a half a million people over 65, and not all those 100,000 are people over 65. So we're really fighting, struggling. Some good news, it's finally rolling out at some of the bigger retail stores, 2 Walmarts, some Fresco y Mas, and we understand that the federal government is going to be prioritizing a super site for us in the very near future. But we've only gotten about 22,000 doses every week, just not enough.
And do you know sort of why there isn't enough, or sort of where is it coming from?
Yeah,
Because I feel like people are going to be wondering that, and I don't want to leave that up in the air.
sure. Well, it has to be produced. And we've got the 2 vaccines approved now, Pfizer and Moderna. They're telling me in another couple of weeks, Johnson and Johnson's vaccine will be out. That will be a game changer because it's only 1 dose instead of 2 that the others require. The And supposedly, I heard today from Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because I'm talking about my entire delegation. I spoke yesterday to Congress uh, woman. Oh my goodness, uh, our Congresswoman in and so Salazar, Maria Elena Salazar. We spoke to her yesterday. And apparently, Pfizer says that they can double their production. So if they can double their production, then Florida can get, 700,000 doses per week instead of the 350,000 that we've been getting. And some weeks were as low as 250,000 for the entire state. So if we don't get the vaccine, then it certainly can't come to us. And we don't think we're getting our fair share in Miami-Dade County because it has been going supposedly by the number of 65-year-olds, but we have the highest infection rate. So we have people really at greater risk, contracting the disease, etc. And we just need more.
Absolutely. I thank you for the clarity on that answer. Obviously the vaccine is sort of front and center on the issue, but I do know that our city has a lot of individuals who own businesses, who are self-employed as well, and even individuals who have all different types of investment properties and whatnot. I'd really love for you to share a little bit about what your administration is doing to help some of the local businesses, some of the landlords. I read quite a bit of information that I found it really exciting and really positive, and I'd love for you to share some of that.
Okay. Unfortunately, the microphone kind of failed me there.
No, it's okay. Can you hear? You want me to repeat it? Oh, we may have lost her. That's okay. Well, what I do know is that, for instance, there was recently, and we'll wait for her to hopefully come back on. Wonderful. There you are. That was excellent.
Okay, I'm
So,
back. Can you hear me?
yes, it's perfect. Thank you so much. I was going to improv for a moment, but I didn't even have to. Did you get an opportunity to hear my
Okay.
question, or you want me to repeat it?
Unfortunately, no. If you could
No, it's
repeat,
okay.
thank you.
So what I was asking you is that we spoke about vaccines and sort of the rollout of that process, but I know that your administration is working hard on other sort of victims and individuals, entities who've been affected by this pandemic. I'd love to know a little bit about what your administration is doing to help businesses that are struggling during this pandemic. We'll give her a quick opportunity just to see if she can get back on. It looks like the connection's not that great.
Okay, so we're working hard to get more federal dollars to our local business community. The CARES Act was very successful in helping businesses in the short term, but we know while the pandemic continues, our businesses are still struggling. We really need more money. Now we're going to
She's been doing an excellent job of jumping right back on despite the technical difficulties. So I'm going to go ahead and give her the opportunity to jump back on as she did the last time. And hopefully it'll be that quickly. Well, there she is.
Huh? Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. You can jump right back in. We understand completely.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
So the businesses that are struggling still need federal help as well. And I've just created my office. Spend more money in the communities that have been left behind. So I'm very excited. We rolled that out yesterday. State incubation and support, incubation, technical assistance, access to capital. We're going to be doing that countywide. I did it initially in my district as commissioner. So we're going to roll that out. We're also going to be working with big business to get their ideas for the new economy. Some businesses are just not going to be successful in the new economy. So we're going to need to really double down and help people to be retrained, relocate. We're going to do infrastructure projects, rolling out the dollars for building of our transportation, our water and sewer, our housing. All of these things will bring good jobs. And we need to get a pipeline to train our young people through apprenticeships and so on to get access to these jobs. So we're going to do everything we can, but we definitely need more federal money to help out.
That's incredible. I'm very happy to hear that. And I also, what I'm taking from what you're saying is that you're really sort of thinking outside the box as well and not trying to just bring everything right back to where it was at, but realizing that the lay of the land has changed and you're moving with it rather than against it. And so I think Miami-Dade County is very lucky to have you for that reason.
Yes, and so we've assembled a group of really great thinkers from all different sectors. We're going to be rolling it out very soon, so stay tuned. Kind of our think tank for economic development, and of course, we're going to do it in a way that's good for the environment too, resilient. So what do they say in South Florida? The environment is the economy, and if we don't take good care of our water, our air, our natural environment, then we can't continue to be the wonderful paradise that people love for their home and a place of work and
Absolutely.
visit. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so I know that our connection has not been the best, but I would definitely like to sort of end on a note where you give us an opportunity to tell us what are some of the priorities that are of most importance to you. Obviously, COVID and getting that under control. But aside from that, I don't want our conversation to be strictly about COVID. I really wanted to dive a little bit deeper into what are those issues, what are those priorities that you care about the most.
Thank you so much, Yvette. And I mentioned the environment. Our bay, people saw, was in trouble with the overheating of the water, the dying of the fish, and we were able to create a new position and hire our first ever chief bay officer. So we are working hard across the different government and public-private to make sure that we cut pollution to the bay, that we protect our fresh water as well, making sure that our well fields are protected from saltwater intrusion, that we convert our septic to sewer so that we don't pollute our waterways. So those are a key priority for me. Then we have to make sure that people can afford to live here. And that means jobs that pay well, but it also means affordable transportation and housing. So we have these 6 corridors and the SMART plan. And we just
Hopefully, the connection will get better shortly. Well, I know that. There we go. Well, I know that transit and transportation and the SMART plan.
All right.
There it is.
Yay. There
Yeah.
we go. The SMART plan.
Let's give it a shot. We
Okay.
lost you when you were talking about the SMART plan.
Yeah. So we have 6 corridors, and the bus rapid transit in South Dade is moving forward now. I signed off on that, and we'll be breaking ground next week or next month, I think. And we also are waiting now for the Northeast corridor that's up to Aventura, the North corridor up 27th Avenue, East West corridor, which will be very exciting, kind of parallel to the airport, but going east west. And we do have a bus express. Maybe this is relevant for in Doral, that goes out to the Dolphin Park and Ride. And it cuts traffic significantly, or travel time from, let's say, Doral to downtown Miami. Cuts it by about 15 or 20 minutes during rush hour. So it's definitely a real benefit. And we hope that people who do have the choice will get out of their cars and ride transit. So other priorities include more equitable access to county jobs, county contracts. That's why we've created the Office of Equity and Inclusion, and violence prevention. We are living in a time when, unfortunately, violence is on the increase. Uh, Kids at home, not in school, uh, not productively engaged, uh, random kind of retaliatory activities that are just, too many in the crossfire. And children, 6-year-old died at a birthday party. Just it's really so upsetting, and we must do more to prevent, to intervene, to come up with alternatives, so that we can keep our kids, mostly our kids, on productive path.
Amazing, amazing. And I will tell you, I know you said you don't know if it's relevant when you talked about the bus transit and the Dolphin Mall. I think everything that you mentioned right now is very relevant to the city of Doral. And we are incredibly thankful that some of these priorities align so well with what a lot of us care about. Again, I know that our connection has not been the best. And so I definitely don't, I don't want to put the there she is. I was gonna say I don't want to put Madam Mayor. I was just saying I don't want to torture you anymore.
No, thank you so much
through the process.
But
But the truth is, we are in. I myself personally am very thankful that you took these few minutes out. You're always welcome in our community. You're always welcome to come and speak to our residents. If there's anything that you want to speak about that's relevant and important to our citizens, please know the floor is yours where we're at.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to being with you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Well, with that, Norberto, we got through that. That's amazing. But I can hear you.
Thank you, Yvette. Thank you for the job. And we have to say that it was, as we know, the mayor is pretty busy, and she gave us this time while she was moving from one place to another. She doesn't stop during the day and during the evenings working. So she was very, very, very kind to give us this time. And certainly you touch and she touch on very, very critical things for not only for the city of Doral, for the whole county.
Absolutely. And I think without a doubt, sort of, her heart and her passion for what she does, her work ethic, was obviously very clear. And really, I just think that we need to be supportive of our leaders and know that they're there to listen to us and hopefully take action. And I thought that was really a great conversation despite the technical difficulties.
Absolutely. And we had to also say to the people who are viewing us now and those who also view us afterwards, because this is recorded and will stay in our social media, as well as those who put our streaming live, like Residents of Doral. We want to thank also the Doral Family Journal for always supporting our activities. We got to say that this is the starting of a series in 2021. In March, we're going to be back. And I know, Yvette, you want to go ahead and we want to go ahead and try to explain what are some of the priorities that our citizens have. And there's a lot of talk about things that are not in Doral but affect Doral, like,
Absolutely.
landfills and others. So in March, we're going to be covering a special session on on a thing that is fairly important for our city, which is both the contracts that are with the people processing garbage as well as the landfills that surround the city of Doral, though they are not in our boundaries. So we are committed.
Absolutely. That
This
is
will be in the second half of March, and this is the way we're going to be communicating to all of you in the city of Doral, and we really thank for all the support.
absolutely. And Norberto, I think that we would be remiss if we didn't let our viewers know that they're welcome to contact us if there's any issues or any thoughts that they're having about anything that we're putting forward. That's what we're here for. We're here to receive this information, to process it, to attempt to bring responses and resolutions back into the community. And so I really am hopeful that our neighbors will use this platform to share with us some of the things that they're seeing and that they're concerned about, and even things that they're happy about. It doesn't necessarily have to be a negative. If something is working, we want to know that it works so that we can support it and move it forward and promote it as much as we can. And so, Norberto, thank you for your work this
No, thank
afternoon
you,
or this
Yvette, and
evening.
we wish everybody a very nice week and
We
a
do.
weekend, and stay safe.
We'll be back. Till
Thank you.
next time.
Have a good night.
You too.